హాయ్ వెల్కమ్ టు TV9. సినీ సంగీతానికి భాష ముఖ్యం కాదు, భావం ముఖ్యం. అందుకేనేమో తెలుగు భాష రాకపోయినప్పటికీ ఎంతో హృదయంగా మనసుకి హత్తుకునేలా ఉంటాయి ఆయన పాటలు. ప్రతి పాటలో ఏదో ఒక గమ్మత్తైన మత్తు ఉంటుంది. మన కోసమే పాడుతున్నారా అన్న ఫీలింగ్ మనకు వస్తుంది. సో వైవిధ్యమైన గొంతుకతో అత్యంత అద్భుతంగా పాడుతూ సెన్సేషన్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్న the extremely talented singer and composer Sid Sriram is with me on TV9 today. So let's talk to him. Hi Sid.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Very happy to be here.
Wonderful. So నాకేమనిపిస్తుందంటే మీ పాటలు నేను ఎప్పుడు వింటున్నా కూడా ఐ ఫీల్ యాజ్ ఇఫ్ యూర్ సింగింగ్ ఫర్ మీ. అలా చాలామంది అన్నారు. నేను విన్నాను. ఎవ్రీబడి మెనీ పీపుల్ టోల్ దాట్ యూ లైక్ యూ టచ్ దేర్ హార్ట్ సమ్వేర్ డీప్. సో this come naturally to you or you've evolved over a period?
Sure. First I want to say thank you. I really appreciate that, and to all the listeners and fans, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think I started learning music at the age of 3 from my mother, Carnatic music. So I started performing soon thereafter. I think from a young age, the thing that drew me to music most was the ability to connect with other people through this very deep form, this art form of music, where words could not communicate. I felt like music could just like touch in a way deeper place. So I understood that from a young age, and I think because that is the aspect of music that makes me so happy and feel fulfilled, I've always focused on that. So I think the core of it has been there for me since I was a kid, but I've worked hard to evolve that and to be able to connect in an even more deeper way. So it's an everyday process.
Yeah, but you see, you're from Tamil Nadu and you know Tamil and English. But the other languages in which you're singing right now,
Yes.
especially in Telugu,
Yes.
see, how do you understand the words, especially when you're actually rendering them?
Yes.
It's not that simple to understand the word and you
Sure.
pronounce it the way it has to be.
Sure.
And also the emotion.
Sure.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, I think a few things there. One, a lot of the credit doesn't go to me. It goes to the composer and the lyricist and the director of the film. See, they set the intention of the song. They, in their heart, they know what they want. Let's take Adiga Adiga, for example, the first song that I sang that was purely in Telugu. Kona Venkat Garu was there in the studio with me. They came to Chennai and we recorded there. And I could feel his passion. And he had such a deep belief in the song and the message and what it should convey. And then after that, I was able to take that. You know, I think I'd like to think I'm very good at feeling energy.
Yes.
You know, and I think that is what a big strength that I've really kind of cultivated over the years. So because I can feel that and then make it my own, I feel like then I could take it in a very intimate way, give my whole soul to the song. Now, Telugu is a gorgeous language. So the meaning is one aspect of it. Then even phonetically, the way it sounds is really beautiful, and I've fallen more and more and more in love with it over the years as I've sung more songs and audiences here have really showered me with love. I feel like I've taken it as a responsibility to understand the language, understand the phonetics of it, how the words should be pronounced. And you know, I really, even though I'm only now slowly starting to understand the meaning of specific words, because I've been passionate about every song I've recorded, because I really care for the language and the people. I feel like it's also my own.
ఫస్ట్ టైం మీ పాటతో మేము ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ అయ్యాం మీకు. సో మీ వాయిస్ విని అబ్బాయి ఎంత అద్భుతంగా పాడుతున్నాడు, ఎంత డిఫరెంట్ వాయిస్ ఇది. అండ్ ఎక్కడో హరిహరన్ గారి ఛాయలు కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటాయి. హరిహరన్ పాడుతున్నారా ఎక్కడి నుంచో అన్నట్టు అనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఆ గొంతులో ఆ మాధుర్యం, ఆ చిన్న జీర, అది హౌ డిడ్ దాట్ కమ్ టు యూ?
I've been the biggest fan of Hariharan sir since I was a child. Like I think the first song that in A.R. Rahman sir's Indira movie, Lali Lali, is his version. Just the kind of tone, and I mean the first version I had heard was the Tamil version because that's what my mom played at home. But and then from that point I listened to everything, every song that he sang. There's that texture, the emotion, there's a sensitivity in the way he sings, and I think I really fell in love with that. And he has this ability to bend notes and sing these small sangadis effortlessly. So, and that really emotionally touched me. I think from a young age I would listen to some of his renditions and it would bring me to tears. And that wouldn't happen for me for all singers, but with him so it hit me on a very kind of deep subconscious level. And I think because of that, you know, subconsciously we take in these things, especially if it's from childhood. So, I mean, I'm so honored that you would compare me to him, and because, like I said, he's an idol of mine. He's someone I really look up to.
అయితే మీ మొదటి పాట మీరు పాడినప్పుడు అడిగా అడిగా పాట ఓకే ముందైతే ఆ పాట ఆ సందర్భం ఏమిటి ఆ సిచ్యువేషన్ ఏమిటి మీకు డైరెక్టర్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు సో మీకు అర్థమైంది కానీ అందులో కొన్ని పదాలు కొన్ని అక్షరాలు ఉంటాయి అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇన్ తెలుగు సాకి శాకి తేడా ఉంటుంది
Sure.
నా అణా సో లా అళా సో ఇవి మీరు ఎట్లా పిక్ చేశారు అంటే పక్క నుంచి మ్యూజిక్ డైరెక్టర్ మీకు చెప్తారా లేకపోతే మీరు అడుగుతారా ఈ రెండు లాలు ఒకటి కాదా లేకపోతే ఈ రెండు సాలు ఒకటి కాదా అని యూ ఆస్క్ దెమ్
Yeah, you know, before Adiga Adiga happened, I'd sung a few songs that were dubs from the Tamil version, like Velli Pomake, Nuvunte Nazataga, those two songs specifically. And in those, actually, because I didn't spend as much time, because they weren't pure Telugu songs, I didn't understand as much. From Adiga Adiga, again, Kona Venkat Garu, he was explaining to me like the slight differences, but I'd like to think even then there was a bit of a roughness in how I pronounced the words. But over the years, as it's progressed, I've started to really understand the nuances of the language, you know. And what's really beautiful, another thing is, like I said, I started off learning Carnatic music from my mother when I was very young. And there are so many of the Jagaraja Kirtanas are in Telugu. And so subconsciously, again, certain words, certain syllables, in the back of my head, they were there.
Okay.
But once I started spending more time with lyricists, singing more songs, understanding the subtleties of the language, that's when it really clicked. Again, it's been a big blessing that I've been given the room to evolve, and I'm super, super grateful for that.
సో మీ ఆ మొట్టమొదటి పాట ఒకసారి మా కోసం
Sure. అడిగా అడిగా ఎదలోలయ నడిగా కదిలే క్షణమా చెలియేదని నన్నే మరిచా తన పేరునే తలిచా మదినే అడిగా తన ఊసేదని నువ్వేలేని నన్ను ఊహించలేను నా ప్రతి ఊహలోను వెతికితే మనకదే నీలోనే ఉన్నా నిన్ను కోరి ఉన్నా నిజమై నడిచా జతగా
See, this is what happens. You take us into another world.
Oh, thank you so much.
With your wow. See, ఏ పాట పాడినా కూడా అది మెలడీ అవ్వనివ్వండి ఈవెన్ సామాజ వర్గం లాంటి పాట అవ్వనివ్వండి ప్రతి పాటలో ఏంటో మీదంటూ ఒక స్టైల్ ఉంటుంది ఒక దాని ఏమంటారు ఇంపాక్ట్ సో ఇన్ ఎవ్రీ సాంగ్ వెదర్ ఇట్ ఇస్ మెలడీ ఆర్ ర్యాప్ ఆర్ బీట్ ఆర్ పాప్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఎక్కడో ఒక మీరు ఆ సంగీతాన్ని తీసుకొస్తారు.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
దట్స్ అమేజింగ్ యాక్చువల్లీ. ఓకే, ఇన్ని పాటలు పాడాక ఈరోజు మీరు ఒకసారి తిరిగి మీరు గతంలో పాడిన పాటలు ఒకసారి వింటూ ఉంటే డూ యూ థింక్ ఎక్కడో ఇక్కడ నేను మిస్టేక్ చేశాను ఈ మధ్య అర్థమవుతుంది కదా మీకు కొంచెం తెలుగు కొన్ని లెటర్స్ సో ఏమన్నా మీరు కనుక్కున్నారా అలాంటివి ఇది కరెక్ట్గా నేను పలకలేదు ఇది కరెక్ట్.
So when I listen back to the songs I've recorded, yeah, I think happens all the time. Even when we were rehearsing for the recent show that we had, I was listening back to the recording of, I forget which song, but it was some pronunciation things where I was like, oh, it sounds a tad bit, it doesn't sound as refined as it would now. So what then I do, I make sure that when we perform it on stage, I keep that in mind and I refine it. As artists, as singers, as musicians, I think our number one job is to improve every day. Wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do better today than I did yesterday. So yeah, I listen back to the songs, but then also I listen back and I'm like, oh, I like what I did there. You know, like a small note I would have sung, or some small inflection or the tone of my voice. I think being self-critical is important. At the same time, we also have to be able to not self-congratulate, but you know, sometimes give yourself a pat on the back and say, you know, keep going, you're doing a good job. So.
బట్ కమింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ అ క్లాసికల్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ అంటే కర్ణాటక మ్యూజిక్ బాగా నేర్చుకున్నారు చిన్నప్పటి నుంచే నేర్చుకున్నారు ఫిల్మ్ మ్యూజిక్ అన్నది వాజ్ ఇట్ అ కాలింగ్ ఆర్ వాజ్ ఇట్ దేర్ అంటే రైట్ ఫ్రమ్ డే వన్ బిగినింగ్ నుంచి కూడా ఇది నేను ట్రై చెయ్యాలి ఇందులోకి వెళ్ళాలి అని ఆ తపన ఉండేదా లేకపోతే ఓన్లీ కర్ణాటక మ్యూజిక్?
No, so in my conscious mind, I think Carnatic music was in the front. When I went to college, I studied music at Berklee College of Music, and Carnatic music was there. I was working on my original music in English, writing lyrics and composing and all that. But see, film music is also in my blood. My mom's father, my maternal grandfather, he was a Carnatic musician, and he was also a film composer and arranger. So it's there in the lineage, but I would dream of it sometimes. Sometimes I would think, oh, this is something I hope I can do, or I've said it many times, A. Rahman is like musical God to me, and I grew up just idolizing everything he did. So I would think, oh, like every time I'd hear a song or watch a film that especially he had composed for, it would inspire me, and I would dream about it. But never did I think, okay, this is that it would actually happen. I didn't even like plan for it. I didn't even try. But then, you know, the universe and God, there's a very interesting way that all this works. So yeah, in 2010, I sent him an email and he responded, and a couple years later, I got my start with Adiye and Yadike in Telugu, and there was no looking back once it happened.
మీ సిస్టర్ మీరు కలిసి పర్ఫామ్ చేసేవారు అంటే తను భరతనాట్యం అండ్ మీరు పాడుతూ ఒక సినర్జీ క్రియేట్ చేశారు. ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్ అనేది చాలా యూనిక్ కాన్సెప్ట్. అంటే ఎవరు ఇంతకుముందు గతంలో ఎప్పుడు చేయలేదు. జనరల్గా ఎవరైనా చేస్తే ఒక 4-5 మ్యూజికల్ ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంట్స్తో చేయటం, లేకపోతే 5-6 సింగర్స్ డిఫరెంట్ జానర్స్లో పర్ఫామ్ చేయటం అది చూసాం. ఒక డాన్స్ చేస్తూ స్టేజ్ మీద, అది కూడా క్లాసికల్, దానికి సినర్జీగా మ్యూజిక్, సాంగ్, పర్ఫార్మెన్స్. డూ యూ థింక్ యూ విల్ కంటిన్యూ దిస్ ఫర్దర్, ఆర్ యూనో ఏమైనా ప్లాన్స్ ఉన్నాయా అలాంటివి ఫ్యూచర్లో చేయాలి, ఇంకొన్ని చేయాలి అని? బికాస్ యువర్ అ బిజీ మ్యాన్ నౌ.
Yeah, it's busy, but definitely. So actually, my sister and we grew up singing together first. We'd perform Carnatic concerts, and once my voice broke, we started performing separately. But she's been a prodigy Bharatanatyam dancer since she was around like 3 or 4. You know, that's she's God gifted in that way, and because we grew up together, we really understand each other's creative boundaries, or like how to push each other. That, and I mean, obviously, since we're siblings, there's an understanding there, deep understanding, beyond music, beyond art, just as two individuals. So it's always very, very inspiring to collaborate with her, to be on stage with her, and there's a certain, like you said, synergy.
Yes.
I think that's the perfect word. Yeah, she's working on some very exciting things. She's a professor in Colorado, and her vision and view of art and music and dance is really something. I mean, I could talk about it for hours. But yeah, we definitely plan on continuing to do some more stuff. And you know, I'd like to think that it's very path-breaking work. You can be a Carnatic musician who sings film songs, who likes to rock out and jump around on stage, who collaborates in the Bharatanatyam space. Wherever your heart goes and resonates, you can really go in that space. And I think for me, that's why I always feel like where I'm at is still the very beginning of my career.
Yeah.
You know, I think even now, I mean, it's been a while, but there's so much more that I want to explore. Leave alone the achieving part, just the exploration part. Like there's so much more that I still want to explore and try new things, and there's so much potential to kind of like create these new spaces, and ultimately what happens is audiences or people that view it, they might get sparked for a new idea. There might be a young kid who's like, oh, I can try something like this. You know, I think that's my main goal, is to be able to just live as an example that there's no boundaries to music and art. And the hope is that others watching will be inspired to apply that and maybe come up with the next genius idea. So.
ఎస్, ఇందాక నేను మళ్ళీ క్వశ్చన్ అడిగాను. మీరు ఏ పాట అయినా సరే, అంటే ఆ పాట ఏ జానర్కి సంబంధించిందైనా, మీరు అందులో ఒక క్లాసికల్ కర్ణాటిక్ టింజ్ యాడ్ చేస్తారు. ప్రతి పాటలో ఒక చిన్న గమకం, ఒక చిన్న ఇట్లా విరుపులాగా అలాంటివి పెడుతూ ఉంటారు. అది కాన్షియస్గా చేస్తారా, లేకపోతే మ్యూజిక్ డైరెక్టర్ మిమ్మల్ని అడుగుతారా చెయ్యమని? ఎందుకంటే అన్ని పాటల్లో మీకు ఎట్లా అండ్ యూ సెట్ అ బెంచ్ మార్క్, లైక్ యూనో అది రీచ్ అవ్వడం కష్టం అన్న టైప్లో యూ స్టార్టింగ్ ఎండింగ్ ఏదో ఒక ఆలాపన ఒకటి యాడ్ చేసేస్తారు. అమ్మో ఇది మనం పాడలేనురా అన్నట్టు అలా ఉంటుంది అనమాట. డూ యూ డూ దట్ కాన్షియస్లీ?
Sometimes I think maybe in the beginning it was just like my comfort zone is to add a little Carnatic gamakam or a small alap to begin with is something that I would always do just as a way for me to get comfortable and get into the song. Then it became like kind of a signature thing, and then a lot of times music directors specifically ask for it. But also I think there's a beauty in not doing that, you know. So like sometimes I try to just use restraint. Now, you know, music directors will say, let's try something a bit different, and I love that. I love when they can take me outside of my comfort zone and we can try something that is completely outside that space. But I think Carnatic music has given me the ability to vocalize in a way that I can try a lot of different ideas. And my favorite is when I do something and I can just see the music director and the lyricist, their eyes light up. They're like, oh, we got that one thing, you know. So I love that. I think
నీలి నీలి ఆకాశం
yes.
అది దట్స్ పాట ఒక రేంజ్ లో ఉంటుంది.
Yes.
మీరు స్టేజ్ మీద సునీత గారితో పర్ఫామ్ చేసినప్పుడు అది ఇంకో రేంజ్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయింది.
Yes.
అసలు అంటే టూ డిఫరెంట్ కైండ్ కంప్లీట్
versions, yeah, for sure.
వర్షన్స్.
Yes.
సో దట్స్ వాట్ ఐమ్ ఆస్కింగ్. అంటే ఎవరైనా ట్రై చేద్దాం అనుకున్నా కూడా ఓకే సినిమా పాట వరకు దే మై ట్రై,
Yes.
బట్ ఇంక ఇది కష్టం.
On
ఇది
the stage.
చేయాలంటే
That was fun. I mean, that I think all the credit goes to Mr. Anup Rubens.
Yeah.
Because we did the song once for that event. We did it once just as the song was
Yeah.
performed. And then during sound check, I had heard him jamming a little bit, and I was like, hey, that's really cool. So he said, okay, let's try it on stage. And that's like, those spontaneous moments are the best, because that for any performer, that's what we live for. That's the adrenaline rush. That's what gets like that excitement, you know. So, and to perform it alongside Sunita Garu was also, it was just a really fun moment. I mean, everyone could see how much we were smiling on stage. We were just having a good time.
enjoying thoroughly.
Yes,
And
exactly.
we as viewers also enjoyed thoroughly.
Awesome.
That song for us.
Sure. నీలి నీలి ఆకాశం మిత్తామనుకున్నా, మబ్బులు నిన్నే కమ్మేస్తాయని మానేస్తూ ఉన్నా, నెలవంక నువ్విద్దామనుకున్నా, ఓ నీ నవ్వుకు సరిపోదంటున్నా, నీలి నీలి ఆకాశం ఇద్దామనుకున్నా, మబ్బులు నిన్నే కమ్మేస్తాయని మానేస్తూ ఉన్నా.
I thought you'll add something after that.
I can add for sure.
Please.
మబ్బులు నిన్నే కమ్మేస్తాయని మానేస్తూ ఉన్నా, ఆ, ఆ,
Wow, amazing. Fantastic.
Thank you.
సో ఏఆర్ రెహమాన్ గారిని మీరు ఫస్ట్ కలిసినప్పుడు ఆయన ఆల్రెడీ మిమ్మల్ని పిలిచారంటే దాని మీనింగ్ మీ పాట నచ్చి, మీ గొంతు నచ్చి, మీ స్వరం నచ్చి, అన్ని నచ్చితేనే కదా పిలుస్తారు ఆయన, లేకపోతే పిలవరు. పిలిచాక మీతో పాట పాడించాక ఆయన మీతో ఏమన్నా అన్నారా మీ సాంగ్ గురించి కానీ, ఆ తర్వాత కానీ ఎప్పుడైనా ఏమన్నా కాంప్లిమెంట్ ఇస్తే ఏమని ఇచ్చారు?
So I'd sent him an email. I was in my second year in college, studying music, writing my own music, composing. So at that point I would record my songs and put it on YouTube and stuff like that. So I sent him those songs first, my original compositions, and for that he said, very nice, and you sing in these languages. And my mind was blown that he would respond. Then 2 years after that I met him for the first time in Chennai. That time when I went, he asked me to sing one Carnatic, one Kriti, and one of my original R&B soul compositions. So when I sang that, he was impressed at how when I sang the Carnatic music, it maintained the Carnatic identity. It didn't sound like it was getting watered down at all. Then when I sang the R&B soul stuff, it had that vibe completely, and he was really happy about that. Then I didn't hear from him for a few months. Then a couple months, I want to say like maybe February, March of 2012, I got an email saying there's this movie, Maniratnam sir movie, Kadali in Telugu, and for that they recorded me for the first song. That was the Adike. And in that recording itself, it was a long distance recording. I was on Skype and he was in Bombay, I was in Boston. There in the end of that song, one like riff comes. It's like hey, just like one quick embellishment. And for that he said, wow, cool. And him saying that to me was like the biggest moment of my life, because like I said, I'd been idolizing everything he'd done up until that point. And from that moment, he's just been such a great supporter of my work. I think, again, the fact that I could do these different styles and not lose the identity, and it doesn't, when I'm singing Carnatic music, this Western stuff doesn't spill in. When I'm singing the Western stuff, the Carnatic stuff doesn't spill in unless I intentionally do it. So he made note of that, and he has really encouraged me in that way since the very beginning, for sure.
So how many you sang till date for him?
For him now, I think in total with the Tamil and Telugu both, it should be about, I want to say like 12.
సో ఇప్పుడు బాగా నోటబుల్ మ్యూజిక్ డైరెక్టర్స్ రాజా గారు, ఇళయరాజా గారు, మణిశర్మ గారు, కీరవాణి గారు, తమ్మన్, డిఎస్పి, అనూప్ రూబెన్స్, వీళ్ళందరూ మ్యూజిక్ డైరెక్షన్లో పాడారా మీరు? లేకపోతే ఎవరికైనా పాడలేదా? ఇంకా స్టిల్ yet to?
I haven't sung for Kieravani Garu yet.
Okay.
And I would love to sing for him. I'm a big fan of his work. So besides that, everyone else you've mentioned, I've recorded for so far, and it's been amazing. Another thing, I want to keep working with all these composers. You know, every experience with them is a new experience. With brother DSP, I've just recorded one song so far, so looking forward to more with him. And it's just, you know what's beautiful? I think this is, there's so much talent across the generations. You know, you have youngsters who are making amazing music, then across the generations. And for me, it's just it's a blessing that I get to work with the legends as well as the newcomers, everyone in between. And each experience is so new and so fresh, and you can just feel their passion for music.
So Sid, before I end this interview, నాకు కొన్ని random quick questions అడగాలనుంది, which I was like very curious to know from you about your journey.
Sure.
ఏ పాటైనా మీరు చాలా టైం తీసుకుని పాడిన పాట ఉందా?
వెళ్ళిపోమాకే. Yeah.
ఎందుకు?
This is from Swasagam
సాహసం శ్వాసగా సాగిపో.
Yeah. So that one, because the melody, the way Raman sir has composed that is like one long journey, and then finally Vellipomake, it comes in the very end. So to internalize the melody and then to get the lyrics properly, that one took a long time. Which other one took a long time? Honestly, most of the other ones locked in very quickly.
Okay.
Like take Samajavaragamana, for example, when we recorded that. It just took about half an hour for me to get into the space, that vibe. Once you're in that vibe, it's like you're sailing.
You took off.
Yeah, and that's the case normally. And again, the music director, I think that's what I always lean on them to kind of help me get into the right space. What is the space for the song? Once I'm in that space, Undi Pora, the same thing.
Okay.
It took me like we were doing the first line a few times. Then one Sangadi I sang. Undi Pora de, like that one. And Radha was like, that's the vibe. And once that happened, then also it builds a confidence within oneself. Okay, I'm doing the right thing now, so we can go. Recently, actually, the song I did for Rangde with DSP Garu, so that one, Nakanulu Epudu Talala, like that last bit, that took a lot because the lyrics are very like dense, it's tongue twister, yeah, for sure. So that took a while, but again, once I got it, then locked in, then we were off to the races. So that's always the case. It takes like, it's all about that first half hour, 1 hour. Once you're there, then it's.
ఏదైనా పాట మీరు రికార్డింగ్ స్టూడియో బుక్ చేసుకొని 3-4 గంటలు ఇది పాడాలి, ఇది కొంచెం టఫ్ సాంగ్, ఇది చాలా టైం పడుతుంది అనుకున్న పాట మీరు వెళ్ళి ఫటక్మని అలా పాడేసి వచ్చిన పాటలు ఉన్నాయా 5-10 నిమిషాల్లో?
See, Inkem Kavale is a whole other story. That one was, I did that remote. I was in the US and I was mainly interacting with Parasuram Garu for he was helping me with the lyrics, making sure. So that one, I thought I got it. Like the first take itself, I got it, I sent the files. And then he's like, no, the vibe is not there yet.
Okay.
The feel still has to come. So then we went through a few things. So that has happened. When I did Adiga Adiga, I was honestly a bit nervous because it was my first time doing like pure Telugu song. And I thought that would take some six hours or so. But we finished that one in like 3 hours.
తెలుగు సినిమాలు మీరు చూస్తుంటారా? అంటే పాటలే కాకుండా మ్యూజిక్ డైరెక్టర్స్ మ్యూజిక్ కాకుండా యు వాచ్ ఎనీ తెలుగు ఫిల్మ్స్? డు యు అంటే పోనీ అట్లీస్ట్ మీరు పాడిన పాటల సినిమాలు చూస్తారా?
Yeah, of course. I watch most of them. I do have a little bit of a superstition, I'll tell you honestly, where I tend not to watch the movies I've sung for fully. I'll just watch a little bit because I don't know why I have this in my head.
అవునా?
Yeah, I don't know why.
అంటే మొత్తం సినిమా చూడరు.
I've watched
చూస్తారు.
like I watched Ala Vaikuntapuramlo, and then but even like I something in my, I feel like I was part of the movie in a way, right? And I don't know where the superstition came from, but it's something that's very real. But I still, like recently, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I look forward to watching Upenna, and it's something I really want to watch.
Okay.
I've seen that it's gotten like glowing reviews, and the music is really great. But yeah, I'm as I learn the language more now, because of pandemic and everything, and because there's been a little bit of a, the whole world has slowed down a bit. It's given me more time. Whereas before we were doing a show every week, recordings, like 3-4 recordings in the week. Now it's a little bit slower, so I'm able to give myself a little bit more time.
You like any actors here?
I think Allu Arjun garu is someone, his presence on stage is magnetic. Vijay Deverakonda has been really great, getting to lend my voice to him. Nani garu, especially with Adiga Adiga, just that. I think these three I'll name for now. And then there's also the legends, obviously. But these three actors, it's been a real pleasure for me to give my voice to them.
మాకేంటంటే బేసికల్గా మీరు వచ్చారు, మీరు మా తెలుగులో అద్భుతంగా పాడారు, అండ్ మమ్మల్ని మీరు ఇట్లా చాలా గుండెలకు హత్తుకునేలాగా పాడుతున్నారు ప్రతి పాట. సో కొన్ని పాటలు మా కోసం.
ఇంకేం కావాలే, చాలే ఇది చాలే, నీకై నువ్వే వచ్చి వాలావే, ఇకపై తిరనాళ్లే, గుండెల్లో నా వేగం పెంచావే, గుమ్మంలోకి హోలీ తెచ్చావే, నువ్వు పక్కనుంటే ఇంతేనేమోనే, నాకొక్కో గంట ఒక్కో జన్మై మళ్ళీ పుట్టి చేస్తున్నానే, ఇంకేం కావాలే, చాలే ఇది చాలే, కడలల్లే వేచే కనులే, కడలల్లే వేచే కనులే, కదిలేను నదిలా కలలే, ఒడి చేరి ఒకటైపోయే, ఒడి చేరి ఒకటైపోయే, తీరం కోరే ప్రాయం, విరహం పొంగెలే, హృదయం మూగెలే, అధరం మంచులే, మధురం కోరెలే, కడలల్లే వేచే కనులే, కదిలేను నదిలా కలలే,
See, this is what you do. You just get into that. Okay, the last two which I'm asking. Allu Arjun, Pavan Kalyan గారిది కలిపి ఒక పాట.
మగువా మగువా లోకానికి తెలుసా నీ విలువా, మగువా మగువా నీ సహనానికి సరిహద్దులు కలవా, అటు ఇటు అన్నింటా నువ్వే జగమంతా, పరుగులు తీస్తావు ఇంట బయట, అలుపని రవ్వంతా ననే అనవంతా, వెలుగులు పూస్తావు వెళ్ళేదంతా, సా గమపమాగసా గమపమాగసా గమపమాగ గమపమాగ గమని పామసా, సామజవర గమన నిన్ను చూసి ఆగగలనా, మనసు మీద వయసుకున్న అదుపు చెప్పతగునా, సామజవర గమన నిన్ను చూసి ఆగగలనా, మనసు మీద వయసుకున్న అదుపు చెప్పతగునా, ఉండిపోరాదే గుండె నీదేలే, హత్తుకోరాదే గుండెకే నన్నే ఓ. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.
ఎస్, సో లాస్ట్ ఈజ్ మై ఫేవరెట్.
ఎస్.
మీరు పాడిన అన్ని పాటల్లో నాకు ఒక 2 ఫేవరెట్ సాంగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఒకటి ఏమైపోయావి,
ఓకే.
రెండోది ఫలక్ను మదాస్లో పాట
అది
అరే రే మనసా.
I'll sing అరే రే
ఎస్, సో దీస్ టూ ఐ లైక్.
ఏమైపోయావే నీ వెంటే నేనుంటే, ఏమైపోతానే నువ్వంటూ లేకుంటే, నీతో ప్రతి పేజీ నింపేశానే తెరవక ముండే పుస్తకమే విసిరేశావే, నాలో ప్రవహించే ఊపిరివే ఆవిరి చేసి ఆయువునే తీసేశావే, నిన్ను వీడిపోనండి నా ప్రాణమే, నా ఊపిరినే నిలిపేడి నీ ధ్యానమే, సగమేనే మిగిలున్న శాసనమిది చెబుతున్నా, పోనే లేనే నిన్నొదిలే, ఏమైపోయావే హే నీ వెంటే నేనుంటే, ఏమైపోతానే హే నువ్వంటూ లేకుంటే, అరే రే మనసా ఇదంతా నిజమా, ఇకపై మనమే సగము సగమా, అరే రే మనసా ఇదంతా నిజమా, ఇకపై మనమే సగము సగమా.
How many girl fans you have? The father is there. You can tell. He knows, I think, everything about you.
I don't know. I don't keep track of it.
couldn't. But still, మీ సోషల్ మీడియాలో చాలా మంది మీ వెంట పడుతుంటారు.
I don't look at
You don't keep a
social
track of your social media also.
Not much.
Safe. You are in the safe zone.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Sid. It was fantastic
Thank you.
having
Had a
you.
great time.
Thanks for your time. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.